Tonight, setting sail for the Mediterranean, Cairo the Waikato warrior, and tarnished frocks and divas. Kia ora and good evening. Welcome to Central News on TV Central for Friday, the 27th of March. I'm Amanda Harper. In today's news, Papamoa councillor Steve Morris wants Tauranga City Council to bring forward a review of its dog bylaw because of the town's growing population. The bylaw is not scheduled to be reviewed until 2018, but with 44,000 people now living along the coastal strip, Steve says confrontations with dog owners along the beach are a growing concern. Speaking after the City Vision Committee meeting this week, Steve says he has spoken with a number of residents who have had dogs defecating next to them and when spoken to the owner of the dog have been told to get lost. He says it is a small minority of dog owners who have an attitude problem. Lorraine Downs is calling on Kiwis to register for Pink Ribbon Breakfast to raise funds for New Zealand Breast Cancer Foundation. Proceeds for this year's breakfast will go towards breast cancer research, including new drug development, research into the genetic factors that contribute to cancer spread, and support for clinical trials that provide access to new and expensive treatments. Lorraine Downs says research is key to improving Kiwi women's survival. By hosting a Pink Ribbon Breakfast, you'll help save more women down the track. She is a New Zealand Breast Cancer Foundation ambassador and former Miss Universe. Her mother was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2012 and underwent successful treatment for the disease. The latest statistics show that 73% of Kiwi breast cancer patients are disease-free 10 years after diagnosis, but still more than 600 women die of breast cancer each year. After spending New Zealand's summer training and competing domestically, the NZL sailing team are Mediterranean bound. The team includes Tauranga sailors Peter Burling, Molly Meach, Thomas Saunders and Jason Saunders, who are setting off for the Spanish island of Mallorca, who will host the first regatta of the northern season on Monday. The regatta lasts for 6 days with medal winners decided on April the 4th. Despite being dropped from the ISAF Sailing World Cup program, the long-standing regatta has attracted some strong entries for its 46th edition, and the Kiwis compete against most of their major rivals. High Performance Director for Yachting New Zealand, Jez Vanstone, says this is the first European regatta for the NZL sailing team this season, and traditionally it is a well-attended event. It's an opportunity to try out things learned in training over the summer in New Zealand. 2 high-tech electronic tolling gantries, the first of their kind in New Zealand, will be operational on key routes in Tauranga this year. One of the 9-metre high electronic tolling gantries have been installed on the Tauranga Eastern Link ahead of the official opening of the motorway later on this year. The second toll gantry will be built on Tauranga's Route K in April in preparation for when the Transport Agency takes ownership of the road from Tauranga City Council in July 2015. The NZ Transport Agency's Waikato Bay of Plenty Regional Director Harry Wilson says both of the new toll points are single gantry, multi-lane free flow systems, the first of their kind in New Zealand. Motorists travelling between Hamilton and Taupiri are advised that detours will be in place as contractors continue to lay the final surface of the Ngaruawahia section of the Waikato Expressway. From March 16th until April 1st, the northbound lanes of the Ngaruawahia section have been closed for resurfacing. Traffic using those lanes will be detoured onto the old State Highway 1 route via Ngaruawahia. From April 8th, the southbound lanes will be closed. All southbound traffic will be diverted onto the old State Highway 1 route until the work is complete. Detour signs will be in place at Tarapa, Horatū and Taupiri to direct motorists during the works. Motorists should plan for delays of up to 5 minutes when travelling. The New Zealand Transport Agency also advises motorists that the State Highway 1 southbound lanes between Rangiriri and Ohiniwai will be closed to traffic from 8 p.m. this Monday, the 30th of March, until 6 a.m. on Tuesdays. Motorists will be detoured across the Glen Murray Bridge and Te Ohaki Road, rejoining State Highway 1 via the Tainui Road Bridge in Huntly. The detour will add approximately 5 to 10 minutes to regular travelling time. This closure allows contracts to install temporary concrete barriers on the northbound shoulder at Rangiriri. Now for our region's weather. Hamilton, fine spells, chance of afternoon evening shower, light winds, high of 24 and low of 13. Rest of the Waikato, areas of morning cloud and isolated showers, mainly in the east. Pairo, high 23 and 15. Matamata, 21 high, 15 low. Te Awamutu, 24 and 13. Tokoroa, 22 and 13 low. Tauranga, cloudy with morning rain. It's chance it could get heavy. Light winds, high of 23 and low of 16. Te Puke, your high is 22 and overnight low of 16 as well. And for the marine forecast, west coast Raglan, northeast 20 knots, easing to variable 10 knots overnight. Southwest swell rising to 2 metres, poor visibility in rain. High tide is at 4:40 p.m. And on the east coast, a northerly 10 knots but variable 5 knots east of Motiti Island, becoming northeast 10 knots everywhere else. Poor visibility in the rain as well. High tide is at 1:48 p.m. Coming up in the show, Mums Across America founder. Welcome back to Central News. Zen Honeycutt has travelled from the States to join 2 other experts in a tour informing New Zealand public about the health risks of GMO and pesticides in our food. The founder of Mums Across America tells us more.
Well, I'm thrilled to be here. GE Free New Zealand brought 3 speakers, myself, Dr. Michael Antonio, and Dr. Michelle Perro, to New Zealand, and we've also just toured Australia to talk about GMO foods and the related pesticides.
Okay. Now, you founded Mums Across America. What compelled you to do this?
Well, the health of my children, of course. I have 3 boys, and they all have food allergies, and my husband and I never had food allergies, and when I found out they could be life-threatening, I had to do something about it. I learned about GMO foods and related pesticides, and I saw that my children got better when they got off GMO foods and related pesticides and ate organic, and so we wanted to spread the word.
Okay. Now, you have a special case with your son when he was 8, is that right? Can you just tell me about that?
Yes, so my son suddenly developed autism symptoms. Not autism, but autism symptoms, and he was diagnosed by a doctor with high levels of fungus, Clostridia C. difficile, fungus and bacterias, leaky gut, 19 different food intolerances, and gut dysbiosis. So he also had a red rash around his mouth. His behavior, he was trying to hit people. His grades dropped from A's to D's, and he just had very erratic behavior that was not who he really was. So I got him tested for glyphosate at that time because Moms Across America developed that ability with a lab to get some testing done, and we found his levels were 8.7 parts per billion of glyphosate. Now this is 8 times higher than what was found in Europe. And it was different from my other sons because he was not gluten intolerant. So he was eating wheat that was sprayed with glyphosate. We eliminated that. Within 6 weeks, his glyphosate levels were no longer detectable, and his autism symptoms were gone and have not come back since.
So that was just a sudden case. It just kind of came out of nowhere.
Yes, yes. And we believe it was because we were allowing him to eat more wheat out at restaurants. And in America, it can be sprayed with glyphosate as a drying agent. And GMOs are also sprayed with glyphosate, which is the active chemical ingredient in Roundup, which is the most widely used herbicide in the world, and of course is used here in New Zealand as well.
Yeah. So Mums Across America, is that going to be moving globally? Are you kind of bringing it to New Zealand?
Sure, we already are. Moms Across the World has been created. Vandana Shiva is a co-creator of that, and we have a wonderful event coming up May 2nd, and we hope moms all across the world would join us and coming together to share, support, and inspire action. And you can go to the Facebook page on Moms Across the World.
Mm-hmm. Now, what other illnesses can be related to GMO foods?
Oh, well, there's many. Because it's a gut, primarily can affect the gut. Glyphosate is a patented antibiotic, and so it can destroy gut bacteria, which impacts the immune system. It's also a chelator, meaning it holds or binds minerals which are needed to fight cancer. And it's also has been reported to be an endocrine disruptor, which means infertility, sterility, birth defects, and miscarriages, unfortunately.
And why are we seeing more of this now?
Well, because the incredible use and increase of Roundup and glyphosate and GMOs has been spreading throughout the world. Last 2013, the use of Roundup increased 73% alone. So we are seeing a dramatic rise of the ingestion of these pesticides and herbicides, primarily also because the EPA has allowed higher levels. They've allowed corn to go from 2.5 to 13 parts per million in just a short amount of time.
And what's the solution?
Well, the solution is to eat organic, that's what we believe, and to put probiotics such as raw organic sauerkraut, miso, kefir, kombucha in your stomach and restore your gut bacteria. Those are the first steps. There's also steps to detoxify that our Dr. Michelle Perrell may talk about, but the primary thing is to buy, grow, and eat organic.
But isn't that expensive?
Oh yeah, well, it seems that it is. However, for instance, one instance I give when I speak is that a 5-pound bag of potato, if you buy an organic bag of potato, if you cut it up and cook it at home, you'll save a family $917 a year from going out and eating French fries at a restaurant. You can absolutely buy organic affordably if you buy bulk and if you cook ahead of time and plan ahead.
Zen and the others will be speaking in Tauranga tonight and Auckland tomorrow night. Chaos in the Coromandel went off last weekend and it was a sold-out event. The Waikato warrior, Cairo George, remains undefeated as he took home his 3rd title bout.
It feels real good, coming away with a big win on the weekend for the IBO Asia Pacific title. This is a dream come true, getting this far in boxing. When I first set out in the professional ranks, I never imagined it could come in this far. And now it's sort of taken on a life of its own, and I'm just ready to take this journey as far as I can.
So round 10 out of 12, they stopped the fight and declared you the winner. Why was that?
The guy was coming in, with his head a lot and coming quite viciously with his head. So in the 10th round, we had a big clash of heads, and it made a big cut over my right eye, as you can see. And when the cut is caused from a foul, they go to the scorecards at the time of the stoppage, and at the time I was leading on points anyway, so I got the decision win.
Did that hurt?
No, I didn't even feel it at the time. I was pretty gutted that I got it because I felt like I was breaking the guy down, and I thought that maybe I could get a knockout in the last 2 rounds, but this is boxing and things like this happen all the time, so I'm just glad to come away with the win.
You were fighting Nort the Assassin. What is he like as a boxer?
No, he's good, he's a tough guy. I caught him with some big shots, and he was taking quite a lot of punishment over the 10 rounds that we did do, and he was just soaking it up. He didn't look like he was going to go anytime soon, but I felt within myself that I stood out a lot more in my gas tank, and I was going to pick it up on him in the last 2 rounds.
What was challenging about his fighting technique?
I don't want to talk him down, but he was very messy, and every time I got close to him and I was opening up on him, he was holding on to me, which was frustrating at times, but I just try to keep my cool and just keep waiting for the opportunities to get him.
And did you get to talk to him after the fight?
Yeah, I did talk to Nort after the fight, and he's a really good dude, real family guy, a lot like myself. He's got kids, and so we related quite well together, and he's a real good dude, and I wish him nothing but the best, going forward from here.
And now Nort's returned home defeated.
So yeah, he's defeated now. I'm the undefeated one, and it's just real good blessing for me to be able to beat another undefeated guy, a top guy, and so I'm just lapping up in the win at the moment.
The first New Zealander to ever hold an IBO title was Shane Cameron. You're the second, but you're the first to actually have won it on New Zealand soil.
Yeah, so that was a big thing for Team George Promotions, the team that put the event on, having the IBO, the International Boxing Organisation, come to New Zealand for the first time to put on a title fight. So yeah, I'm the first person to win this title on New Zealand soil, and Shane Cameron's the only other person to actually hold that title that's a New Zealander. So it's just, again, I just feel really blessed.
Not bad for a 24-year-old from Ngarohia.
Yeah, well, I couldn't have done it with a great team. My coaches, my strength and conditioning coach, got me in real good shape, and my boxing coach, he's a legend. I can't speak any more highly than I can of him. He's the whole reason why I did so well, and he's everything.
Yeah. What kind of training did you have to go through?
A lot of short, sharp sort of stuff I was doing with my strength and conditioning coach. We were training between 40-45 minutes, the same length as the fight. I know a lot of guys try and train for hours and hours at a time, but a fight's short, sharp, and high intense. So you might as well train that same way, and that's the style of training that I was doing for this fight.
Yeah. Now tell me about the corporate fights on the night. I understand you were training 2 of them. How did they go?
I trained 2 people towards the fight. One of my girls actually got sick the week of the fight and unfortunately had to pull from the fight. But the guy that I trained, Courtney, had a good win, so I'm happy for him as well.
Stay with us after the break, more from Cairo. And what have you been doing since Chaos on the Coromandel?
Just relaxing and spending some time with my family. You know, during the training camp, I was living part-time in Auckland and I was away from my family, so I'm just catching up on time with my kids and, you know, enjoying life and just lapping up in the wind.
I understand it was a sold-out event. How was the night overall?
The night was awesome. You know, it was a sold-out event, so we got a lot of support and teams. You know, they supported me with my clothing line as well. You know, that everybody was dressed up in their Team George gear, so it was real cool for me to see that. And just before I come out for the fight, you know, the whole crowd did a haka, you know, just before I come out. So it was real special for me to have that much support, you know, in the arena going into that fight.
How does it feel to see more and more people turn up to support you in your fighting?
It's real humbling for me. You know, my Facebook notification and messages have been chocker ever since the fight, and it's real humbling for me to see everyone giving me so much support and things like that. I can't always message back to people, but you know, I just want to let everyone know that you know, I'm humbled by everyone's messages and just keep them coming and keep supporting me. You know, I'm doing big things now.
Is that a big part of building up your public profile, staying, you know, approachable on social media?
Yeah, you know, I'm always on social media. I'm all over it. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You know, I'm on everything, and it's all about the people. You know, like I said, I'm trying to motivate people. So social media is a good outlet to reach out to people and show them what I'm doing. And you know, I'm getting messages from people saying that I'm inspiring them to go and do things, and it really humbles me and makes me want to work harder and keep pushing to be the best that I can be.
And what about all the random friend requests?
Yeah, you get a few of those, but I've got a like page on Facebook that I try and push, you know, randoms sort of onto, because I had a couple of random people sort of messaging me some strange things. But
And what's next for you, Cairo?
I'm hoping to fight in August. I haven't actually spoken to my team what the fight will be for just yet, but I've been told that it could be August, and it'll be another big one. It'll be another step up again, and hopefully we can take on an Aussie. You know, I really want to fight against an Aussie. You can't get better build-ups than when you got New Zealand versus Australia. You know, we're so competitive with each other, so I'd love to kick some Aussies' butt, eh?
Congratulations, Cairo, on the win. I hope your head isn't too sore. In our last story, for over a decade, Tarnished Frocks and Divas have brought women from all over the Bay of Plenty together to showcase their talents. Hilary caught up with Creative Director of Design to find out what her role involves.
My role is about actually putting together a platform for other designers to sit in there. We've actually got a number of different designers this year. It's quite different from our previous years. We've got other designers that will take different walks and put their garments onto the different walks of the show. My role is actually umbrelling all of that. So I've got the designers, each designer has their own make team, which are a great group of women that will actually put together those designs for the show. And also we have hair, makeup. You met the beautiful Desiree as you arrived today. She's makeup. She'll be actually designing all the makeup for the show. So it's quite a few different teams that will be put into place. We also have a few teams of hairdressers. Out the back is crazy. It's quite huge. So my role is actually to umbrella all of the design components and to get those onto the floor, along with being part of the production team, and also I'm working with the director and the producer, and we'll be doing the AV, working to do the designs for the AV as well for the show. So it has many different components, but I love each part of it. It's a challenge.
That sounds like a hard job, making sure that all those different elements are cohesive and look similar, I guess.
I don't know whether it's a similar theme, but there's definitely within each walk, we'll have 2 designers per walk. So we do actually have to tie those 2 designers together. So that will be done with accessories, hair and makeup. So that's how that whole department comes together. So, and it's a lot of brainstorming, a lot of picture boarding, and a lot of team. we're all about the team, actually.
What can I expect if I went along to the day? Am I expecting a play or a fashion show or all of the above and more?
The theme. The theme this year is actually about self-journey. So it's about all of us women over the age of 40 finding our place and going on a journey. TFD will take you on a journey. Tarnished Frocks and Divas have done a journey last year around 7 countries, for the last show that is. But this year it's completely different. This is more of an internal journey, a journey of the self, and the highs and the fun and the relationships around that as well. It's very much about relationships, this particular show.
What is basically, what can I expect if I went along? Am I expecting a play, or am I expecting a fashion show, or am I expecting all of the above and more?
You're expecting all of the above and more. It's not just a fashion show, it's not just a play, it's performing arts. So we talk arts, and that's exactly what it is, of women over the age of 40, which is fantastic. There's gorgeous beings out there doing their thing. The fashions are all pulled together out of recycled vintage and retro, and we contemporize them. And that's what we have as our fashion walk. But these are exciting, quite creative, couture garments on the catwalk.
What kind of feelings do you think that people come away with after they've finished the show? Obviously they've come away with a great something that they can look back on. What kind of feelings do you think they get?
I constantly get the feedback from women that have been in the show, and they just can't wait to get in and be part of the show again, because it just gave them a sense of self. So yes, you do become part of the team and part of the sisterhood of Tarnished Frocks and Divas, but I think it's the part of self that is actually putting yourself on the line, looking at something and actually going past that with the support of the team. So it's self-growth, and this is something I constantly hear, is how much of the self was actually honoured in that process.
And that is quite hard to find in other places in life, isn't it?
It is. And you don't pay for it. This is all about fun. Have fun support.
Visit tarnishedfrocksanddivas.co.nz to volunteer your time and whatever expertise you think you could bring to the show. Thank you for watching Central News. We do post everything online on our website, and we also like to keep in touch with our viewers on Facebook, so don't forget to like our Facebook page. Just search centralnews.tv. Or if you think you have a story for us, email news@tvcentral.co.nz. I will be back on screens next week with more stories from the Waikato and the Bay of Plenty. My name is Amanda Harper. Have a good weekend. Pō Marie.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.